What's up and what's happening, TPE family? We're back with another episode, and this is a very special episode. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, as you can see, I have a very special guest with us today. First of all, thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else that you consume this content. We hope to continue to help everyone pivot into their next. And as all of you know, the pivot experience is all about progress over perfection. And I just thought that on this particular episode number 11, that me and my wife should participate in the episode, because if any of you guys don't know, we actually got married on November 11th, 2011. So our anniversary date is 11/11/11. And a lot of things we've done over the past few years has kind of had that woven into it in some capacity. So this show would be no different in terms of the episode that we record, episode number 11. And so we just want to jump straight into the interview with Miss Lindsay Seale here. So, hey, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Doing good. Awesome. So for those of you who don't know, what can we find you, Miss Lindsay? What, like, on Instagram? What's your Instagram? Where can we find you?
My Instagram is at Studio Seale, and on Facebook I am Studio Seale Interiors.
So Studio Seale Interiors, and so if that doesn't give you a clue as to what my wife does, she is currently an interior designer outside of being a wife and a mother, but she's also, so she takes on the entrepreneurial pursuit of being an interior designer. And so I guess my number one question is, why interior design?
I really enjoy the creativity, the expression that you kind of can give in your home or your business, but mostly we do homes. It's just like getting dressed, how you get to kind of express your personality and things that you like. I really enjoy bringing that together in someone's home or just their personal spaces.
Yeah, and I guess I would have to say, you just, in our own home, I think you've done an incredible job with the decor here. Even though in this space, in particular, the studio space, I've kind of not say done my own thing, but people would say this area is synonymous with a man cave. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as if it's it's an office. But I think every other piece of our home, from our main family living area to our kitchen to our bathroom, is stunning. And the things that I've seen you do in other people's homes has been pretty incredible as well. And if memory serves me correctly, this is something that you wanted to do whenever you were getting where you were in high school. Like, so this is not a overnight thing for you. This is something that you've always wanted to do, that you've always had a passion for. And so I think it's pretty cool. Us as a unit, we've gotten to a place to where you can fulfill those dreams and you can pursue those things. And so I think it's pretty cool just to be a part of that. I don't think there's often times where people have a dream of something they want to do at that age, and then they're seeing themselves doing it, in their mid 30s. And so I think that's pretty clutch and pretty cool that, we were in a position to be able to pursue that full time. So in this, and this is relatively new, when you've been in this business about a year and a half or so, something to that effect.
Close to 2 years.
Almost 2 years. And so what would you say are the challenges that you had in the beginning starting out versus where you are now? And then what would you say contributed to you being able to pivot from where you were to where you are now?
I think most of the challenges were probably the structure and how we kind of went into everything, because I think once people, of course, people who genuinely always support us. So I think once they saw what we were doing, we had people kind of just jumping in and wanting to be a part of it almost faster than I could catch up and have, what I like to call the back end together. I think going through a lot of experiences and different situations helped me close my books. Remember, we closed very early last year, because I said I need time to make sure that those things are together. And I think we've already seen just this first month that having all of those things together, everything now is going so much smoother. Like, from beginning to end, the process is just a lot easier, a lot smoother.
And so I think you said a couple things of value in terms of the people who are listening to this. Number one, I think you not having the back end completely done and not letting that stop you from getting started is important. I think
Yeah.
sometimes people get so caught up in wanting to make sure they have everything perfect. I'm
Yeah.
actually,
Me
I'm
too.
kind of guilty of that too. I don't, it could have something to do with the imposter syndrome in terms of, well, you don't think you'll be going to be taken seriously because you don't have all
True.
these different things kind of put in place, but you having the courage to continue to go. And not to say, I'll say this is not like we didn't have nothing all put together. We had
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had things we had things in place, but I think you knew that you wanted to have a more of a thorough process going
Hmm.
forward. And so, but you didn't let that want stop you. You kept it as a priority.
Hmm.
As we started going through certain client experiences, I think we felt like, oh well, it's imperative that I go ahead and
Right.
tighten up some of these other things. But you had already had some proof of concept. You've already
Yeah.
had some work going there, so that's awesome. So anybody out there who's either A, currently in an entrepreneurial situation, or B, wanting to pursue it, don't let not having everything that you want to have in place stop you. Now, I will say I do believe that there should be some,
Yeah.
you should have something like some form of a plan, some form of some type of just an outline or a base, a foundation or something, but always prioritize continuing to get better. And truthfully, that process of getting better never really stops. I mean, we got some, I think, some
Yeah.
very sturdy processes in place now, but as the clientele changes, as the gravity of the work changes, the processes might get more, a little bit more complex, in terms of how we
Hmm.
go about doing things. And so I think, particularly, there's this term out there called solopreneur, particularly when you're and we're not really solopreneurs because I think we're a team together, and we bounce ideas off of each other. But for those of the people who are out there who are having to wear all of the hats, sometimes I think we forget that, yes, I am the brand, yes, I am operations, yes, I am marketing, yes, I am IT, but it's like you get so caught up wearing all those hats that you forget about making those hats better because you're so consumed with just doing the work of those things. I think I had a conversation at a meeting a few days ago where we were talking about the differences between working in your business versus working on your business. And when you said you closed your books, you dedicated that time to work on your business because you realized that being in it will stifle you from being able to work on it. And so sometimes, there's a term, I say this, I play dominoes, and there's a term in dominoes that's, all money ain't good money, right? If anybody out there who plays dominoes, you know what that phrase is. And I think sometimes we'll get caught up chasing the money that we
Hmm.
neglect the systems, and we neglect the things that we need to put in place to scale up. Like, it might
Hmm.
be a temporary sacrifice, and for those who invest, like, it's an investment. Like, okay, I might miss one or two clients because I'm perfecting a system that would attract me 10 more. You know what I mean? So I think that's where people kind of miss that boat. So very good information. So if you get started, but don't get so started and just say forget getting better. Always pursue trying to get more or get better. So, mother of three, wife to one, well, wife to me, um, and running a, what I think this first quarter is trending to be. I mean, obviously going to be your best quarter ever because we're relatively young, but quarter is trending to be very good from a revenue standpoint. How do you balance it all? Like, how do you manage me? How do you manage children? How do you manage clients? Like, what's your, I guess I would say, soft system in trying to balance those things?
Well, I'm still working on that part too. um, for now, I on Mondays I stay home with the baby. I try to stay home on that day, like physically at home to clean up, um, do the things that I need to do here. That way, on the other days of the week, I can tend to client things, whether that's being in front of the computer or needing to go out to source things and do have appointments that we may have during the week and things like that. I've gotten better with using my calendar and different reminders to try to help me stay on track. And I think that it's specifically once we have the studio ready, that'll really help me have that part of it together too. I think you and I pretty much have our schedule down, as far as how we work. And the kids are at a really good place too, the older two kids. It's just the baby that might be a little unpredictable. But I've also gotten back to a few days of the week, maybe having to work at night just for a little bit while I have that quiet time to myself. But figuring out what works for my schedule is the key thing. Like, you kind of read and see things that different people do and habits, and sometimes you'll maybe sometimes put pressure on yourself to try to get up early and do this and do it like that, but that doesn't necessarily work for me. So I just think that figuring out how it works best for you and what you have going on is most important.
Well, and it's funny that you said that, and I'm glad you said that because I just we got the last portion of Atomic Habits and its advanced tactics, and one of the biggest things it talks about is you've got to do habits that work for you. I was talking to our good friend Jason, and we were talking about diets. You've got 30 different diets that you can try to do. And my response was to that was, I think all of them have merit. You just got to stick to one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's keto, low carb, you doing this or doing that. Like, I think all of those things have results tied to them as long as you commit to the thing that works best for you. And so, yeah, for me, getting up early in the morning and working during the still of the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning when everything else is quiet, that works for me. But for you, that doesn't work. And so you're more of a night owl. So whenever the house, again, the house is still, everybody's asleep by 10 or 11. So you taking advantage of that time to do those things during those moments works for you. And so I think and just to be honest, I think we've had to start relying on things that have always been around, very basic instruments of organization, but like the calendar is a godsend. Like the functionality of being able to make sure that everybody's on point between Emory having dance and Braden having different things after school activities. It's like, all right, everybody, we're all moving, and I think you've done a wonderful job as wife, mother, and making sure that you prioritize the family and household events. Like, even though, and then sometimes, and I don't want to say this in the wrong way, not to say it's at a detriment, but you'll say, no, whatever's going on at home is going to come first, regardless of what I got going on in my business or regardless of whatever happens. And so I can appreciate that and I can admire that. And now I think you've gotten to a place to where you have gotten more balanced in the context of, yeah, we're going to prioritize those things too, but I do also have high paying, high volume clients that I still have to satisfy the needs of them too. So I think just watching the growth of us as a unit in terms of everybody being able to respect, all right, what are our aspirations? And I think as a whole, the family kind of understands, like, all right, mom's trying to do this, dad's trying to do this, and what we're doing in a sense plays to the things that they are interested in too. The kids want to get involved with media, YouTube in some capacity at some point, and so them watching us do it, them seeing what we have, I think encourages that thought. Also, just the interior design thing, I think Emory kind of has slight interest in what's going on, and so I think for us, a larger picture in terms of the balancing component, I feel like our lives are being an example to them in terms of what could be, what they should be thinking about. I think for the most part, both of our parents, have shown us great examples of work ethic and being in business and being being committed to something. And so I think we were just taking that recipe and that formula and then and putting our spin on it and putting our lens on it, and we're continuing to move forward. So that's very good commentary there. What are you most excited about in your business over the next 12 months? Like, is there something in the next 12 months or toward the end of the year or going into 2024 that you're wanting to accomplish or you're wanting to see happen?
So, it's actually a couple of things. I'm excited about the studio. We are opening up, which will be our showroom, where we will have a retail side of our business, and it'll be our design center. I'm very excited about that. I think we may be able to open that up officially in the next couple of months, 2 to 3 months,
Sure.
maybe.
I definitely think we're trending towards that.
Yeah. I have some really good projects that I can't wait to see, the finished product to show those to people. I have I'm also excited about a really large project, my largest project so far, that probably won't be done until December, January, February. So we'll be working on that this entire year. Really excited to start sharing some things about that also. And then I have a goal of this year that I would like to work with a builder. I think that in some markets there are builders that work with designers, not so much where we live maybe, and so I do have that as a large goal, just to put a little special touch on what people would normally call a builder grade home. That's a really large goal for me. I put that on my vision board for this year, so hopefully we get a chance to do that.
And I think sometimes I feel like us being in the middle of it, us being in the thick of it, we kind of downplay sometimes some of the stuff that we got going on. Like, I think the studio is a big deal.
Yeah.
I think number one, the investment,
Mhm.
and I mean, we signed that lease when in June,
Mhm.
and so we've been just between the cost to keep the building.
Mhm.
That has been a significant investment, and then all of the I can't wait to really, I guess, unveil before
Right.
after
Right.
pictures, because I think we put a lot of money into trying to get that space to where it needs to be. And so I just want to just say kudos to you for having the ambition, the courage. And I guess, for me, it's not so much that I don't have that. I think I said this yesterday when in the talk. It was like some certain stuff in my head was kind of like, you never would even think about that being something that's an opportunity for you. Like, even when we opened 11 and Co, it was like, oh, we have a key to a door that we're
Mhm.
paying the rent on, and the lease is in our name. I think there's we're in a, I don't say a small percentage of the population, but there's not everyone's not doing it every single day. Not to say that it's foreign, but I think it's a space that we're in that we're fortunate enough to be able to participate in, and I just kind of wanted to highlight that because I can't wait. And I mean,
Mhm.
us having that garage door open the
Right.
other day was kind of cool. It's like, all right,
Mhm.
we're actually really, 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 really getting close to where we need to be in terms of getting this space open, and so no, that's awesome. Okay, so final question, and this is kind of becoming a staple question to the show, and I kind of try to ask every guest this question, and I'm curious to know what your answer is. And so, if you could start all the way over, whether if you could start all the way over whether it was, and this doesn't necessarily have to just be a business answer. This could be an answer depending on wherever you want it to land. If you could start over in the beginning of your interior design business, or at any point of our relationship, and if you can give yourself any advice from what you know now versus what you knew then, what would it be? And you can pick either one. You can either go from the Studio Seal component, or just any life piece that you want to touch on.
I would probably go with the business and just do it sooner. Like you said, I've always had the interest, but it's we really never kind of just jumped into it before. Um, and just try it. Maybe even if I had just actually went to school for it and just really did it. I'm still okay with. I love our life, everything, the way we've done everything. So I don't even know if I'd been able to do it sooner, with the kids and before COVID, being homeroom mom and different things like that, I may not have been able to do that anyway. So, but if I would maybe just give it a shot a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I feel like we feel in our area that service or business wasn't like as prevalent. It
Well,
didn't.
I always feel like, and it could be me, that in our community,
Mhm.
people weren't hiring people to pay them thousands of dollars to decorate. Like, I could just hear somebody saying, you could hear your grandmother, your mom saying, I don't need to pay anybody to decorate my house. But now people are like, here, do it. I want it to look like this.
Yeah.
So I think everything kind of just worked out the way it needed to, honestly. Um, Yeah.
Okay. No, that's definitely fair. But so I've enjoyed this conversation very much so. I think this has been a very good conversation. And anybody out there who's aspiring to be an entrepreneur, and if you're a mom or if you're a wife, or if you feel like it might be a bit overwhelming, I think Lindsay is a great resource to be able to reach out to. She gave her Instagrams and her Facebook in the beginning of this talk. But where can they find you again?
On Instagram, I'm Studio Seale. On Facebook, Studio Seale Interiors.
You have a
And
website?
my website is studioseale.com. I have a YouTube. It's
Oh yes, you
Studio
did.
Seale.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and so I just would, and this is not really part of the show, but I would invite anybody who has an interest of wanting to just try to start a business or wanting to, just have questions about things in that regard. I mean, you can definitely reach out to her. We are busy, and we do have. I don't want to say we have a large family, but we're around. If we're not considered a large family already, we're definitely on the cusp of being a large family. With there being five of us, our kids age in range of 2 to 14 or 13, and so pretty wide range of emotions and challenges. But I think one of our core things has always been we want to help people. And at the core of us starting business, at the core of us, everything that we've done from a volunteer standpoint, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, there has always been is always set on the foundation of we want to try to make experiences better for people, and then we want to show people that it can be done, and we're willing to try to help people do that. Now, I will say in the coming months that helping to do might look different in terms of the packaging of it. It might not be as informal. So if you want to get in now on the informal component of it, I would definitely tug on her shoulder or on her coattail or mine in that time frame. But yeah, no, like I said, I've really enjoyed this time. I appreciate you wanting to come. Well, saying yes to coming on to the show. I think you sometimes you get, I feel like, nervous about doing certain things like this, or you're shy, and I think you're slightly introverted, whether you realize that or not. And I feel like you do a great job at these things, and you should do these things more often. You should open yourself up to these type of opportunities, because I feel like you're very concise in your messaging, and then I like a lot of times people need that. I'm a lot. Obviously, I'm filler and fluff, but as far as you concerned, you're no fluff. It's just kind of like, this is what it is. This is what you need to do, and I think you've gotten feedback that would suggest that, hey, I needed that. Yeah, I didn't like it at the moment, but I needed that. So thank you so much again for being here. And TPE family, let's continue to pivot into our next, and always remember, it's about progress over perfection. And until next time, peace. Take this mind.